quadratic relations. We're going to be able to construct graphs, determine the meaning of values of variables given the graph of a quadratic relation. Then we're also going to determine what the values of a, h, and k are in this special equation that I've underlined here. Y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Now, these are keywords that we're going to learn about throughout the unit. For mathematical model, we have the following equivalent in Portuguese: modelo matemático. We also have the term vertex, which is talking about a thing called the vertice in this special graph. So you see, this is the parabola, this upside down U, and the top portion of this thing is called the vertex, and you call it vertice. Because of this shape, we will also look at the maximum, and we'll also look at the minimum of these vertex. So this is any y value along here. So this one would be the y value is the max in this case. We're also going to look at the special thing called the vertex form, which is this highlighted equation that we're looking at here. That is what we call the vertex form. So now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify. Another word for simplify is expand. And simplify. So you'll see that in every assignment that we do. So let's do that now. So for this problem, we have 6x equals 10x minus x plus bracket negative 4x. Now, when we're applying the positive to the inside of this bracket, we have a positive and negative, which gives us a minus sign. So that minus sign is what we have here as a result of the calculation. So now what we're going to do is we're going to collect like terms. So we're going to have, negative 6x plus 10x, and then minus x minus 4x. So our final answer is going to be, negative 6x plus 10x is just 4x. And negative x minus 4x. Negative x minus 4x is going to be, negative 5x. Pulling that all together, we get negative x as our final answer. You can do this in many different ways. I leave it up to you to do your own. Now, the reason why we have plus 6x is because we have minus and minus giving us a positive, and then this part here, plus and minus 10, gives us a minus sign for our answer. So now we'll collect all the terms that are similar. So we'll put all our x's together. So we get minus 2x plus 6x, and then we have minus 10 left over, minus 2. Pulling those terms that are the same together, you're going to get 4x and negative 12. And now we'll move on to our next problem. 3x minus 10x squared plus 4x plus negative x squared. So we're still going to apply that rule for plus and minus outside the bracket. So plus and minus outside the bracket give me a minus. So this term and this term are one type of term. And then these terms are going to also go together. So let's go and simplify right away. So we're going to get 3x minus 10x squared plus 4x minus x squared. Now we're going to look at the x squared terms as different from the regular x terms, and we're going to group those together. So we're always going to put our largest power first. So our largest power first is going to be negative 10x squared, and then we have minus x squared, and then we're going to have 3x plus 3x plus 4x. Now, collecting these terms here, you're going to get minus 11x squared. Pulling these two terms here together, we're going to get plus 7x. And you'll notice we always start with higher power first. Now let's take a look at this next problem. We have negative 5x minus bracket minus 5 plus minus bracket 6x squared minus 2. Okay, so when we do this, we're going to take a look at this bracket and we're going to combine those two. A minus and minus gives us a plus, like we said before. And then this minus sign that's outside the second bracket is going to hit this and this. So the first one is going to give us a minus. The second one is going to give us a plus. So now when we expand, we're going to get the following: negative 5x plus 5 minus 6x squared plus 2. Now, in mathematics, the English term for this is called distribution. What we did here is called distribution. So if you hear me say the term distribute the number across, we're taking whatever's in front of the bracket and applying it to everything on the inside here. So the minus 6, so the plus 6 turning into minus 6, and the minus 2 turning into plus 2. So now, let's go and put our highest power first. So our highest power of information needs to go first. So I look at this entire list of terms and it's minus 6x squared. So there's no more 6x squared. So now we look for our next highest power of term, which ends up being the minus 5x. And then we put our numbers at the end. Plus 5, plus 2. Now, we leave negative 6x squared because it's a different term than the others. So we have minus 6x squared plus 5x, minus 5x, and then plus 5 plus 2 gives us plus 7. So this next problem here is finding the y value when x equals 0. This is another term for substitution. So let's see what substitution is. So basically we take our original equation, so in this case it's y is equal to negative 2x squared minus 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to replace any x with a 0. So we're going to get y is equal to negative 2 bracket 0 squared minus 3. So 0 squared. So 0 squared is 0. So our new equation becomes negative 2 times 0 minus 3. So y is equal to negative 2 times 0 minus 3. So end up with y is equal to 0 minus 3, which is y is equal to negative 3. And that is our final answer. Now we're going to do the same thing for this next problem. So we're going to start with y is equal to So now that we substituted, what we have to do is we have to take a look at everything that is inside this bracket and simplify it. Now, 0 minus 3 is negative 3, so let's simplify that on the next line. So we get y is equal to negative 2 bracket negative 3 all raised to the power of 2. So now Bedmus tells us that we have to do this first. So we have to do negative 3 squared, which is going to be y is equal to negative 2 times 9. And then y is equal to negative 2 times 9, which is 18. And we are done. Now let's do the same again for this last problem. So we substitute directly in. So we go y is equal to 0 plus 2 squared minus 3. So we simplify the inside of our bracket first. So 0 plus 2 gives 2. So now we're left with 2 raised to the power 2 minus 3, which gives us y is equal to 4 minus 3, which means y is equal to 1. For this next problem, we follow the same pattern again, but this time we're substituting when x is equal to 2. Let's do it. So, following the same pattern we did before, you're going to get the next line. Remember that we have to square negative 2. You'll notice that I leave it in a bracket. So we calculate, we leave it in a bracket if there's a multiplication beside it. There you go. Plus. So we end up with y is equal to 20 plus 2, which means y is equal to 22. And we're good to go. Now, let's do the next problem. The next problem involves brackets, so we're going to go and substitute brackets inside a bracket. So, this is what we should have on our next line. So, wherever we have x, we put in bracket negative 2. Then what we have to do is we have to immediately simplify the inside of the bracket. That is what Bedmus tells us to do. So we do that first. So negative 2 plus 2 will give us 0. So we're going to get the next line. And 0 squared, when we do the calculation for it, is going to be just 0. So we end up with the next line. So now we have 5 times 0, and that just gives us y is equal to 0. Try the last problem, and I'll show you the solution. So pause the video here, and I'll show you the entire solution. Do the problem, and take a look. And there you go. You'll notice that I've underlined all of the terms that we have to calculate in order to get to the next line. So the first line, we brought together the negative 2 and the 12, and then the next line, we had to do the exponent that existed in the line, so that would be 10 squared, and then on the third line, we had to multiply 3 times 100, negative 3 times 100 to get negative 300, and then add those last bits together to get negative 299. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take a look at the back side of the page. This is the end of part 1. Like that.